Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Evan Jivanakis here. Hope everybody's well. I hope everybody's enjoying themselves at home or wherever you are. There are some countries which are locked down, some countries which are not. The COVID-19 crisis has revealed two things within us. Firstly, a greater appreciation for the intangible things in life that money cannot buy. And secondly, an even greater intolerance for businesses, for companies, for brands, for organizations who fail to support the community, who fail to support their customers, who fail to support their employees, who fail to support, in general, their stakeholders in their greatest time of need. And today I want to talk about authentic leadership and why it is more relevant and more important than ever in our days. So whether you recently been promoted to a leadership position, or maybe you've been leading teams, for years, it can often seem, I think, tricky to actually think and describe what being a good leader actually means. And when you're trying to determine the components of a successful leader, it is very easy to fall back on certain terms, bullshit terms, really, we commonly associate with leadership. Words like, assertive, inspirational, confident, blah, blah, blah. But what about being authentic? And the idea of authentic leadership is not a new concept, right? It has its roots in ancient Greek philosophy, which said that authenticity is an important state of being that enables you to control your own destiny. And today it can certainly feel like a novel component of leadership. I mean, I don't know, what does being true to yourself have to do with anything, right? But I do believe, from my years of experience in managing people and companies across different regions, I do believe that the single strongest predictor of an employee's job satisfaction, of organizational commitment and work happiness is authentic leadership. And you as a leader, if you want to make sure long-term happiness and productivity out of your team, because today productivity is associated with happiness. So if you want to increase that productivity, I think it is critical that you demonstrate a level of authenticity as a leader. But what is authentic leadership, if you were to ask me? I would say that authentic leadership is a management style in which the leader is genuine, self-aware, and transparent. And an authentic leader is able to inspire loyalty and trust in their employees by displaying a consistent attitude who he or she is really as a person. A consistent attitude of he or how he or she feels about her or his employees. And authentic leadership requires, I think, to remind yourself and the people around you that you as a leader is not a robot, that you as a leader you are also human. And in today's video, I want to share with you 4 components of the authentic leadership theory. So let's dive in. Any questions, please Write them down in the notes. I am able to see them. I'm live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube at the same time. And if you think that this video has a value, please do not hesitate to click the share button. So authentic leadership. Let's dive into the 4 components to the authentic leadership theory. So how can you be an authentic leader in today's organizational environment? And it is very challenging to be a leader in our days. So the first component is self-awareness, as I mentioned before. And as a leader, I think it's very important, it's very critical. You have a strong sense of you, including your strengths, including your weaknesses, and including your values. Because if you don't, it is impossible to demonstrate authenticity as a leader if you don't know who you are or what you stand for. And at the same time, additionally, but if you display your strengths and weaknesses to your team, you are able to demonstrate and you are able to communicate with your team. They say, listen, I have nothing to hide. I don't play games. I am who I am. I have my strengths. I have my weaknesses. I do not know it all, but I'm here to support you. I am here to set the vision, and I'm here to work with you in the path to achieve what we're going to achieve. And if you have that self-awareness, you are better equipped to build trust among your team. And when one of your employees makes a mistake, he or she will feel comfortable admitting the error to you. It's like your kids, right? You don't want your kids, when they don't take a good grade at school, or they make a mistake, you don't want them to hide. You want them to come to you and admit it. Because yes, you are the authority, but you are also a friend. And this is a relationship that we should all have with our kids and with our employees. And self-awareness, I do believe that is critical for you to grow as a leader. Because self-awareness for me, is vital for acting properly and appropriately as a leader, and feeling empathy of how your employees might perceive your feedback. For example, I don't know, maybe you have a one-on-one conversation with one of your team members, and you feel that conversation you had with your team was demoralizing. And maybe you just received some disappointing news about your team's performance, and you're speaking out of frustration. If you do that, I do suggest you go and seek feedback from your environment by asking your team what you can do to help them improve moving forward. And additionally, I don't know, maybe you can mitigate these issues in the future by regularly practicing self-observation, like putting yourself in a mirror, so you are able to notice in the moment and to say, wait, I am really frustrated right now, so I will wait until I am calm to have this conversation with my team. And this is sometimes it happens to me. Often I get frustrated, and I'm trying to improve my self-awareness. So if I catch myself in that state, what I do, I go make myself a coffee and a glass of water, and I take a 10 minutes break to calm down, because I know myself. I don't want to scream at my employees. I want to control myself, and controlling yourself starts from being self-aware. So a critical component, if you want to practice authentic leadership, is being self-aware of who you are, your strengths, your weaknesses, and your values. Let's move to number 2. What is next? I think next is something that I call relational transparency. And to truly foster authenticity, it is important that you remain genuine, straightforward, and honest with your team. And how do you do that? You do that by letting your team know where you stand, and if they mess up, tell them. It might seem counterintuitive, but you may think, how will I become close to my team if I am providing constructive rather than positive feedback? Listen, it works in the long run. It will work in your favor in the long run because your employees trust you, that you are not hiding your true feelings regarding their performance. This is why I call it relational transparency. And transparency and honesty should be encouraged from the leadership level if you want your organization to be successful. So the bottom line of relational transparency is what? Is that authentic leadership must start with you displaying behavior that you hope to see in your employees as well. Because if you're not transparent, if you're not honest, if you're not genuine, how can you expect your people to come forward with problems when they arise? They will not. They will just hide the problems. And the last thing that you want is your people to hide the problems, your family members to hide their problems. So the second component is relational transparency. Let's move on. The third component that I think is important in order for you to practice authentic leadership is balanced processing, what I call a balanced processing. One of the leader's job is what? Is to make decisions and stay true to his decisions in the face of opposition. But the leader should also be capable of receiving and considering alternative viewpoints before choosing a plan of action. And this is something that you can do. Before you make a major decision, it is important that you ask for alternative opinions and remain open to discussion and listen. And go around and ask questions that will help you have a more helicopter view of the issue, therefore make a better decision. So for you as a leader, why it is important to stick to your values, it is also important that you see, you ask questions, and you are open to other people's viewpoints. Because this will enable you two things. Number one, to have a more helicopter view of what is going on, and at the same time, see potential flaws in your initial course of action. And also enable you to strengthen your argument by understanding all points of view. A little bit like a judge. A judge listens to everybody. And if you really want to be an authentic leader, it is critical that you create an environment in which your employees, your people, they feel both safe and at the same time encouraged to share their opinions. And this balanced processing goes back to the first point of self-awareness. Because you must be self-aware enough to accept that your opinion, it is likely biased or partial. And by collecting outside feedback, what are you able to do? You are able to see more potential weaknesses in your decision. And the last part, number 4, is what? It's something very simple, which I call do the right thing. Do the right thing. It's not that hard. Internalized moral perspective. An authentic leader needs to know when to put the needs of the company and the needs of the customers and the needs of his employees ahead of herself or himself. So ultimately, a leader should be focused on doing the right thing for the long-term success of the business, not himself. Do the right thing. And additionally, I believe, it is critical that a leader have strong ethical values and integrity and exercises, and practices these traits even in the face of tempting shortcuts. So I don't know, let's say your employees come to you with a money quick scheme, and his idea is to make it difficult for customers to know how to cancel their subscription. So they're kind of forced to keep paying unless they call up customer support. I'm sure you subscribe to some kind of service or a product before, and when you want to unsubscribe, when you want to cancel the subscription, is really difficult. You are directed from one page to another. What do you think? What do you think about this company? It's dodgy. So as a leader, it is important that you recognize the downfall of this type of decision. Because while it could temporarily increase sales, it is not a decision made out of integrity or fairness for your customers. And it will not the result will not be lasting loyalty. You will get caught out. At the end of the day, being an authentic leader means leading by example. And leading by example, it is demonstrating through your actions that you practice the same values and behaviors you expect from your team. For example, if you ask your team to come to meetings on time, or to come to meetings on time and prepared, you should do as well. Monkey see, monkey do. We are not, the colonial style of management has died. We need different style of management and leadership. So if you impress upon your team that no task is beneath anyone, this is going to work in your favor. So by being a leader who emphasizes the importance of doing the right thing, you are better equipped to set up your team for long-term success. But is authentic leadership easy to achieve? No, it's not. It's difficult to achieve. Because the 4 components I just shared with you, my beliefs of how you can practice authentic leadership, are good jumping off points, but it's important that you remember the true meaning of authenticity. What is the true meaning of authenticity? Maybe you can share in the comments area. For me, the true meaning of authenticity is your ability to express yourself as truly as you are. And the meaning of authenticity makes it inherently difficult to prescribe in any one way. And it is funny that sometimes, so basic as being ourselves, starts to become harder as we gain responsibility and scope. Maybe ego gets in the way sometimes. But the truth is, being authentic as a leader has to be consciously worked at. Because, you go out there are so many examples of how other people lead. But there are no examples of what authenticity to you until you get there. So you have to search for it. You have to practice it. So you have to kind of, go and create all these touch points in the course of meetings, presentations, management that remind you of yourself, who you are and where you are stronger and where you are weaker. So it's not easy, my friends. And at the end of the day, ultimately, authenticity is a leadership skill, like any other skill. And skills can always be developed or weakened over time, depending on your conscious efforts. And if we as leaders, if we are able to lead our teams as well as they deserve, it is critical that we remain focused on demonstrating authenticity whenever that is possible. If you want to take it further about authenticity, it's my website, executivecoachasia.com. Drop me a message and I will be happy to have a chat with you. Thank you for watching. Stay authentic. See you soon. Bye-bye.